I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some more Esper Affinity. This is my stock list. If you are interested in getting a guide for the stock list, there's a link in the description, or you can just find it on my Metafy. But generally, we're going to be doing the same thing we've been doing with our Esper Affinity list the whole time, which is bouncing our various artifacts, refurbished familiars, cryogen relics, tithing blades, grim baubles, with our skyfishers, glint hawks, and then we have enforcers for some win cons. We have thought casts to draw a bunch of cards. For more removal, cast down, suffocating fumes, metallic rebuke, Thraben charm, and the beautiful one of Raven's Crime, Nile Spellbomb. We have a Bajuka Bog and a bunch of artifact lands and a couple blood fountains, and our sideboard looks like this. So let's take it into a league and see how we do. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, or maybe you want me to suffer through High Tide, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a league video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. And we have, okay, no blue mana, kind of dependent on whether this Grim Bauble is really good, because if it is good, we can use it twice, otherwise it's kind of a waste. But we also have pretty fast start to get to a Mirror Enforcer, which is not bad. So we're definitely going to keep this one. So, ooh, nice. Okay. Epicure is nice because we just get to Grim Bauble it away. We're already at 5 artifacts, so next turn I can play Ancient Den, Mirror Enforcer, and then Skyfisher pick up the Bauble. Flame Breather. Okay, so we are against Madness. I could just cast that down, actually, instead of picking up the Bauble yet and getting the Skyfisher down, which I think is good because, first of all, we don't take any damage off of it, but also it's possible that we will draw something else we'd rather use the Skyfisher on, like a Cryogen or something. Obviously, we'd need blue mana for that, but also, if they just Gutter Snipe here, this is perfect. We get to Gutter Snipe, pick up, or we get to Skyfisher, pick up the Bauble, kill the Gutter Snipe, and whew, already we have an incredible start against Red Madness. Now we have them on a 3-turn clock, roughly. Epicure's going to throw a little bit of a wrench in that. And I would love some blue mana for this Rebuke and Thoughtcast, but otherwise doing pretty well. They have a Faithless Looting. Looting bins a Lava Dart and another Epicure into a Robbery. Sacrifice, so back up to 3 cards in hand. Seat is a great draw. So question is, do I want to Thoughtcast or leave up the Rebuke? We are already in a pretty good spot. They need to do something here, so I think we're just going to hold up the Rebuke. This also lets me still hold up Grim Bauble to Surveil here. But if they go for a Gutter Snipe, I'll Rebuke that. If they go for a Grab the Prize, I will Rebuke that. They Blood Token away a Snacker. Okay, if they just do Blood Tokens here, they can get the Snacker out, and I can't do much about it. But they might be flashing back a Faithless Looting here. No, they have the Grab the Prize. All right, very nice. We get to snag that. Discarding a Mountain. They could still discard their last card with the Blood Token to Snacker, but yeah, that was a near perfect start for us against them. Our cards lined up really well, and we get a lot of sideboard cards here. We get 11 sideboard cards. These just line up really well. We have Life Gain from Compass. Duress can take any of their stuff, any of their draw 2s, or even just a Fire Blast. Pull Elemental Blast counters everything. Fairy Macabre makes sure Snacker and Lava Darts aren't too problematic. And we're going to cut a couple Enforcers and a couple Thoughtcasts. The Suffocating Fumes, as good as the Grim Bauble was there, generally you want to kill a Gutter Snipe on the turn it comes down. Epicures are something we don't necessarily need to pay attention to, so we cut those. They're not usually killing our creatures, / we don't care that much about them killing our creatures, so I think Blood Fountains come out in this one. I don't have my own guide fully memorized, so let me consult that real quick. Make sure I'm sideboarding correctly. Yeah, the Blood Fountains, Mirror Forces, Raven's Crime, certainly, much as I love it, not going to be the best here. And then, yeah, our Tithing Blades, because they have Epicures and Snackers that can get in the way of killing a Pinger, so we're going to do that. Okay, so it's not bad. Compass fixes our mana, don't forget, so this is all 3 of our colors of mana. It is only 2 lands, which, you know, is not a reason to mulligan a hand, at least in this case, but it's possible they could cast in the fire or smash to smithereens, blowing up one of our lands, which could be a problem, but I think Compass with the life gain into Relic into Skyfisher is just too good. We're gonna snap that one off for sure. Plus with the Compasses, we can get an early Enforcer potentially, which could block if they have like a multiple Epicure draw. They have a Looting, been 2 Snackers. I would love a Fairy Macabre or a Bajuka Bog. Well, those are going to be problematic. We're going to gain some life here, but they have the robbery. Please no third snack. There's got to be some justice. Lava Dart. Yeah, it's still pretty bad. I mean, it didn't matter if we drew the 3-man charm before, but man, that is unfortunate. Okay, so I could Skyfisher to block, but it probably just eats a bolt. We get a compass back, which is life gain, but really we need some value. I think we just got to play this Cryogen. Also, we're trying to, in the early turns here, build up our artifact count to get to the Enforcer for free before we start taking them away. Duress is not bad. Like next turn I could land, compass, Duress, Enforcer, or like Skyfisher or something. If I can Duress away their only removal spell and then play a Skyfisher to block, that's not bad. Smash to Smithereens on the compass. Honestly, not as bad as if it were on the land because we have another compass. But this is 4, 5. Yeah, so I could Duress. That's not good enough. I could Mirror Enforcer. That doesn't block these, so I pretty much have to Skyfisher. Now, I could pick up the Relic. If they have another way to blow up the compass, it's kind of bad. But if they do that, maybe they don't kill the Skyfisher. I mean, they could just have a Bolt and a Smash. I mean, I think we got to pick up the compass. Or not the compass. I think we need to pick up the Relic to draw something here. Gaining 3 life is just not going to stop this onslaught. Whereas if we draw some more stuff, it could be good. But definitely going to hurt here if they have the other Smash and a Bolt, of course. Because if they didn't have the Bolt, at least we had like 3-man charms and stuff. Yeah, I could have picked up the compass, which would allow us to save it for a turn, and then I could reuse it here. And that just didn't happen. So I guess our only play really is exile their graveyard. But probably going to die here now. They have a Gutter Snipe. We're down to 5. Yeah, the double smash is pretty good, especially when we happened to have only Ancient Dens, which, I mean, it was nice that we had the compasses, but pretty unfortunate seeing as we only run 3 Ancient Dens. Literally any of our other 17 lands would have given us another color. So that's annoying. But we're on the play here. Bog is nice. We don't have blue. We don't have artifacts, but we have a cast down. We have a Bog. We have decent mana. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. We also have Skyfisher to pick up Bog if that's helpful. So if I'm Vault of Whispers so that I can keep the Bog for later, then we could get smashed to Smithereened, and that's pretty bad. I'm going to play the Bog because we do have the Skyfisher to buy back if they go with like a... I mean, if they do a grab the prize snacker, it's not going to matter anyway. But if they do like Faithless Looting, discard a couple snackers, I could pick it back up and then exile. Well... Fiery Temper Mountain this time, so that's unfortunate that we don't really have a way to get value off of that. I'm always tempted to use 3 colors and almost always regret it. You're just saying, like, playing 3-color decks? I do not regret playing 3-color decks. I like what they offer, but certainly the mana... I mean, the good thing about Pauper is that it's actually a format that cares and that it costs you to play multiple colors. It's like the only format where it actually costs you to play multiple colors. Yeah, because of the mana. Yeah, that's fine. There's plenty of good good monocolor or 2-color decks. I guess we just play a Skyfisher here. And yeah, I guess I'll just Bog away the Faithless Looting because I still don't want my land to get blown up. Yeah, I don't regret playing 3 colors. I think it's way more fun this way. But yeah, it's a real cost, as it should be. Grab the prize with an Epicure. Alright, so if we get a Seat of the Synod, then we can hold up a Blue Blast. Nope. Alright, I guess we're just attacking and playing a Glinthawk every turn for the next several turns, picking up a land and replaying it. Because we have nothing else to do, really. I could hold up a cast down, develop out a land that doesn't really matter, and if anything is only a liability, but that just does not seem very good. Highway Robbery. Sack a Mountain. Searing Blaze the Skyfisher. Sometimes I regret using 2 colors of mana because of the mana screw. Yeah, I mean, it's just part of the game. You gotta accept that there's mana screw unless you want to go monocolored. We will swing. Glinthawk again. I mean, there's no way this is going to be fast enough unless if their hand is like all mountains, but again, we just don't have another play. I could just cast down this Epicure, but I'm already holding it back unless they bolt the Glinthawk, which they could. It just doesn't really make a difference, I don't think. Grab the prize of robbery. A mountain, bolt us. So I assume there's a Lava Dart or a Bolt and a Fire Blast, or just 2 Fire Blasts. Alright, well they had a pretty good draw there, but obviously our mana just failed us a little bit. Alright, this is a pretty good hand. We get to turn 2 a Relic, turn 3 a Glinthawk. To be honest, the best 3-color deck I've ever seen was Old Affinity with Frogs and Springleaf Drum. Yeah, that sounds solid enough. Best in terms of not getting mana screwed. Sure, yeah. I mean, I think decks like Jund Wildfire do a pretty good job of not getting mana screwed. Obviously, it happens sometimes, but a Wildfire can fix your mana pretty well. Obviously, yeah, Frogmites and Springleaf Drums being colorless helps quite a bit. They got an Arbor Elf. Grim Bauble would be a nice draw. All right, let's play a relic. Cast down's not bad. I assume we're against red-green monsters, but it could be a number of things. I got the wild growth, but only one forest, so that means 3 mana this turn. I gotta get the Glint Hawk down this next turn in case they get an Avenging Hunter out. I mean, we probably want to anyway. Glint Hawk Relic is pretty good. I might just cast down the Arbor Elf though. I guess they still have 5 mana this turn, but I'd prevent them from having 7 mana this turn. But I guess cast down's probably just better for the other creatures. So I'm going to Glint Hawk. We're gonna bounce the Relic and replay the Relic. Boom. Get a little bit of the bounce emo going. Look at that. And yeah, so they got 4, 5, 6, 7 mana if they want it. So Altasaur, they could do a boarding party. They could do a hunter and like a 2-drop. Okay, repurposer. Swing with the other repurposer. And that's it? That can't be it for everything they have. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's great. I guess they could have like a Hydra they want even more mana into, but that's pretty good for us, I think. Let's start with a relic. This puts us at 5 artifacts. An enforcer, so I can do 6, 7, 8. All right. Enforcers against repurposers looks pretty good. I think I might as well swing because I'm not going to be blocking these guys. I mean, I don't even know what they have. I guess it could just all be lands or, yeah, I don't know. If they were just hoping to draw something to ramp into. All right, they're going for something. All right, above 7 mana, that means it's going to be a Nyxborn Hydra. For 7, so they're going to have a 10/10 repurposer. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Next turn I can cast it down, and then... Or actually I could just keep it tapped with the relics. That's probably better, because then they don't even have the Hydra. Although when the Hydra comes out, it's a 7/8, so I block it pretty nicely with the Enforcers. But 10 damage, not my favorite number of damage to take. Glint Hawk, okay. Well, I'm gonna keep this tapped. I think that's definitely what we want to do. Getting a lot of lands here. I want to hold up cast down for sure, and I want to play a Glint Hawk. So yeah, I think I'm going to attack with everybody. If they don't chomp, I hit them down to 8. Even if they get another Hydra or something, my cast down can like stop that. I guess if they go like Altasaur into boarding party into Avenging Hunter, this is not amazing. But I think if we hold up cast down, we can't really get super punished. Have you seen the Selesnya Gates deck at all? Saw on Kalikai's channel it's been getting some 5-0s. I don't think so. Feel free to send a link to deck list, because I don't think I've seen that. Sounds interesting. I played against a Naya Gates deck the other day. I think that was in the Black Sack stock update video. Well, they sprawl, so they have 8 mana available. I mean, if they tap out, including the Arbor Elf, to play a Hydra on a repurposer, and I can cast down the repurposer, then they have 2 blockers. If I can find a way to kill one of those blockers, then I could get in for lethal with just what we have on board. I don't know. Maybe it was Naya. Yeah, because I played against one that was like Writhing Chrysalis and stuff like that. Sacred Cat, Thraben, Gate Creeper, Skyfishers, with Chris, yup, and Gatekeeper. Yeah, because they gain 7 life. That's a lot. Bolts, Breath Weapon. Yeah, I think this is the deck I played against. It seemed lackluster to me. I mean, like, Chrysalis is kind of cool because it gives you 3 guys, so you can leave some on defense, and then you can start gating them up, and then if those die, you can gate it more. When Extract in the sideboard. Yeah, I think I got hit by the Extract, and I was very shocked by that. As a black spell from the sideboard. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, for sure. All right, they don't cast anything. They just pass here. I mean, if they just pass, no, they're attacking. What is this? What is happening? Okay, they could have a Bannerhide Crew Shock for the Arbor Elf. They could have a Ram Through for the Repurposer, but I have a cast down. They'd have to have 2 Ram Throughs, and then I'm dead either way. They could just have a Lightning Bolt if I take all this damage. I mean, I think I'm just blocking here. I can't think of... I guess if they have 2 Bannerhide Crew Shocks, that could be 7, but I have the cast down, and then I have lethal on them, even with the blocker, so I can't think of a way I die here, unless they're playing something wacky I've never seen before. I guess some way to give it 4 power, and then Vines of Vastwood to protect it. Like 2 Vines of Vastwoods would work. Okay. It might just be the double Crew Shock. That's fine. Yep. That was their goal. All right. Yeah, I mean, they were in a tough spot. They were trying to figure out the way to win, and that was the way to win. If I didn't have a removal spell there and I made that block. Although if I didn't have the cast down and I thought about that, which I did, then I would have blocked the big one. But they could block here. We get in for 8, and that's going to be a game. All right. So against Gruul monsters, we don't have a ton to bring in. Honestly, we have more cards that we just kind of want to take out because Spellbomb doesn't do anything against them except a tiny bit with Bannerhide. But not really. Raven's Crime, they run out of cards pretty quickly, and the Tithing Blades are just not very good against all their spawn. So I bring in Compasses because they can... if they're not Ponza, it's not as important to bring them in, but it's a way that, the life gain's not irrelevant, and it's a way to make it so your early game is more consistent. So we shouldn't stumble as much, and that should help keep us alive. And then, really, nothing else is great. But a Blue Blast can kill a boarding party, which I think is better than anything else. Like, a Tithing Blade can occasionally catch something, but it's just much less likely to, I think. And they're going to potentially bring in some Cast in the Fires or something. So, again, this is more to side cards out that are not very good than to side cards in. Shrivel for spawn. Yeah, so I leave the Suffocating Fumes in the deck for spawn and Arbor Elves because they're... because it's instant speed, so it can also be used as a combat trick to throw off their math a little bit. But the Shrivel being sorcery speed, I feel like it's just not quite as worth it. It can still clear spawn, but the problem is the cards I'm taking out are the Tithing Blades. So, like, if I was clearing the spawn, it's mostly for Tithing Blade, and I think both of those together is, like, works well, but you have to have them both. I guess Shrivel just for an Arbor Elf on turn 2 could be okay, but often that's already too late. And I leave the Grim Bauble in so that you can catch an Arbor Elf on turn 1. I'm hoping they're not blowing this up. Okay, Rumble. But I would bring in 3 Blue Blasts because all their sideboard cards against you would be red most likely. I think I understand the logic there, but unfortunately, this is their main removal usually for their sideboard, is to Glamour. If they usually played 4 Cast in the Fires, then I would agree, bring in a bunch of those. But usually it's going to be like 3 or 4 to Glamour and maybe 1 or 2 Cast in the Fire, if any. And so that's not great. And if they bring in like Breath Weapon, yeah, I have an answer for that. But Breath Weapon I'm not too concerned with. Yeah, generally their other cards are just not the best to counter. Unless there's something red that I'm not thinking of. But that was my rationale. All right, I could play a Refurb. I could cast this down. What did they take here? They took a Chrysalis. And this Forest was earlier, so they can play Chris. I think that's fine. I guess I'm going to play a Seat and a Cryogen here. So I played the blue mana so that if they have a Deglamor, I guess they probably would be taking out our 2 colors anyway, but they wouldn't take away our black was my thought. However, it's possible that if I draw another black land, I would have preferred to have it down so that I could like Refurb twice. But they just play Chris, and is that missing a land drop? Because they sacked their spawn for that. That's pretty good for us. Okay. Now I can Refurb Skyfisher so that if they missed a land, if they go for like an Avenging Hunter to hit their land drop, then I have a cast down for the Chris, and I have 2 attackers. That seems pretty good. Plus, for mana, next turn that lets me cast down and play another Glinthawk, so it's pretty efficient as well. Discard another Bushwhack. That's also, that's a fight spell, so that's something to keep in mind. Bounce the Relic. Compass is, not the best here, but it's fine. They play a Forest, so that was their draw for turn. 3 mana, so they have 6 total. If they want a boarding party, they could. They have another Chris. Okay, so if they attack, we're going to take it, but this could be as much as 6 damage. We have 1 cast down. Thraben Charm doesn't kill these until we get 4 creatures on the board. That's kind of tough. The good news, I guess, is if they want to increase this damage at all, they have to use some of their spawn, which means they're not using the mana. So yeah, otherwise it's just 2 damage, and that's not that scary. Bog is pretty irrelevant. I probably want to use a cast down this turn. I could cast down and get in for 4, but I don't think that's necessary. I guess if I'm using cast down, then I'm only using either a Compass or a Glinthawk. Yeah, I think we're going to Compass. I'm going to hold up cast down because if they go for a Hydra, I would like to use it on... In fact, I might actually Thraben Charm the Hydra. I would like to use it on the creature that they target. Or if they just play like an Altasaur or something, I'd rather probably kill a creature with Trample rather than one that doesn't have Trample inherently. And getting in for damage just is not how we're going to win this. We need to play control. So, alright, they got a Jewel Thief. Okay, and they did it right the first time, but they didn't do this right this time. They crack all of the spawn to cast the Hunter here, but this allows us to Thraben Charm down one of the Chrysalises for 4 damage because they didn't do it individually. Unless they have like a 1 mana bolt or something. A bolt would be 1 mana, but I definitely think this is worth it. Trying to take out one of these. If this is like a bait, that's the best bait ever. But if they had sacked them 1 at a time, there wouldn't have been an opportunity to do this for 4 damage. But now that they did, with no spawns left, I might be able to kill this, and then I can cast this down, and then I can steal the initiative. Now they have 2 trampling creatures, so that's still not going to be the best for us, but yeah, they do that does work. Alright, so Hunter's coming down. Take the initiative. Another cast down would be great. They take up Mountain, play that. Arbor Elf. Okay. They swing with the Chrysalis, so they're fine trading it. They just want to get in for some damage. I think that's fair. Although, since I don't have to spend my cast down on this, I can kill this, I can chump the Chrysalis. This might give us some better plays. We're not playing a basic, which is annoying. It's always a consideration when up against Gruul or Jund Wildfire, but usually it doesn't come up enough for me to think it's worth it. But if you do run up against a lot of Gruul and Jund, I would say either adding a basic, swapping out for a Vault of Whispers, or maybe swapping out the Bojuka Bog if you don't think that's as necessary. Yeah, so that Blue Blast is a pretty bad draw, unless their last card is a Boarding Party, because there's nothing really to counter. It's possible a Tithing Blade would just be better in the main deck than this. I think that's reasonable. I could just attack for 2, take the initiative, then I have... I attack for 2, Glint Hawk, pick this back up, replay it, make them discard their card, and then I could chump, double block, and cast this down. That's actually not bad. Okay. Because if I want a Relic and Glint Hawk here, then my cast down I can't use unless I hit an untapped land. But this way, I get to have the blockers, I get to take their last card, which could be relevant. It was a repurposer, that's not nothing. Bojuka Bog this away, and I can cast this down. We have to throw away a creature for the Chrysalis, and we have to trade one off for the Thief. But then, if they attack with the Arbor Elf, I'm not going to be able to keep the Monarch, or the Initiative. But if they don't attack with the Arbor Elf, and they don't get a haste creature, then next turn I can Cryogen to keep the Chrysalis tapped. These will both be dead, and I'll have a blocker. So if they just draw nothing, swing with these 3, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Bushwhack. Okay, that changes things. That's pretty annoying. So they fight. If I let that go through, I can cast down the Hunter, but this has Trample, so there's no way I can keep the initiative then. I could cast this down so I keep my guy. Then I could trade these 2, chump here, but that's not going to do it. I think I have to cast this down. I want to keep my guy. And then I can always Cryogen Relic to keep like a Hunter tapped, but this is annoying for sure that I have to use it on the guy that doesn't have Trample. In fact, yeah, I think I just let this Hunter go through. They get to Forge, but I get to trade one of these guys. So I keep 2 creatures, then I can Cryogen this down. If they add the Forge counters to the Arbor Elf, it could be annoying, but yeah, I think this might be okay still. They go for the Hunter. That's great. I can chain the Hunter down multiple times in a row. So let's just start with that. With a Relic, Compass. We're going to keep it tapped. Ooh, we even get a seat. So I might as well hold up this Blue Blast, which I have through the Compass, since I have it, in case they get a Boarding Party. I guess I could have played the Cryogen. The next turn I could Skyfisher it, pick it back up, play it again, and still use it to tap for a little more value. That might have been okay. But we're going to swing, take the initiative, and forge onto this Hawk. I don't draw anything relevant, it looks like. Now, even through like a Bannerhide, Crew Shock, I can block, which is nice. They just pass. We're going to trap them. Enforcer's nice. So we have another Cryogen. Enforcer, we get to take their card away. And now I get to attack, keep this tapped, and we've pretty much just won. All right, nice match against Gruul. That can be a tougher matchup for us for sure, because sometimes they can just play more creatures than we can deal with, and if we don't have enough creatures early enough, they can kind of steamroll us, but worked out pretty well that time. All right, this is a little slow with all the tap lands, but certainly not a mulligan. Ooh, Tramway Station. Does that mean Mogwarts? I feel like that's the only deck I've ever seen it in, and a Wellspring with Snow-Covered Mountain, that kind of looks like it to me. There's a Goblin Matron. All right, I've not played against this in so long. Would love to hit a land. No. I basically just have to play Cryogen, really hope to hit a land, and we don't. What's irrelevant in this matchup? I guess Forcer doesn't really matter. I mean, theoretically, they could just kill us right now, but I don't think leaving up a cast down was the play there. So if they got it, they got it. There's an offering. And I guess I get to refurb Thoughtcast next turn. Or I could play it safer and refurb, hold up Rebuke. They map on it. They have a Siege Smash. Yup, I know generally how that works out. They bin that though. I also have to discard. Discard an Unearth. So I could cast this down. It feels like if they discard an Unearth, they probably have another Unearth or something. So that might not matter. Could just hold up cast down / rebuke. I guess that's not terrible. I mean, it's pretty bad because we have to discard or something. I could refurb and Thoughtcast. They didn't have lethal last turn, so I'm going to assume they don't have it again. And I'm going to just try to get a third land here, I think. Discard another Unearth, and we still don't get a land. Blood Fountain could be more useful than one of these Hawks, I guess. No, probably not. Alright, there's a Wellspring. They duress us. Okay, they can take the Rebuke or one cast down. Yeah, Rebuke makes sense. Is this Goblin combo? It sure is. Indeed. I guess we Tithing Blade them. It sets them back a little bit. They could have a third Unearth, but they've already used 2. And... or I could just Skyfisher to try to get our lands. Haven't seen that in a while. Yeah, I was just saying that I've not played against it in a very long time. I guess I kind of want to add more pressure and hit our lands. Yeah, okay, I'm going to Glint Hawk. Pick up the Relic. Still don't hit our land. I'm going to Glint Hawk, pick up a land this time. Oh, look, I hit my land drop. Now they only have a 3-turn clock, and I can start, like, casting down and stuff. Again, maybe we just lose. They have the Goblin and the first day of class. Yep, so that's infinite mana. As soon as they show us a makeshift munitions or something that is an outlet, we will concede. Goblin Matron can find... I assume it's going to be the Dark Dweller. Is that what it is? Dark Dwelling Oracle. Yep, so that can... In case you haven't seen this before, because it's so old, you can pay a mana of which they have infinite mana because the first day of class gives a +1/+1 counter every single time. We're going to concede so they don't have to walk through it. +1/+1 counter every time a creature enters the battlefield. Putrid Goblin comes back when it dies with a -1/-1 counter which cancels out, so that allows them to sacrifice them infinitely to Skirk Prospector to gain infinite mana. Dark Dweller Oracle lets them use their infinite mana and their infinite creatures they can sacrifice to exile the top card of their library, so they can search through their entire deck. They're going to have a makeshift munitions in there, which they can then use to throw their Goblin infinite times. I can't say that I actually have a sideboard plan for this, because it is an older deck. Blue Elemental Blast is definitely going to be good. Fairy Macabre can interrupt the graveyard stuff. Did they have artifact lands? Often they do. They had a tramway station, snow-covered mountain, swamp. So yeah, I don't think we saw any artifact lands, which means the Dust to Dusts probably aren't worth it. Duress can take pieces of the combo, though, so we'll do those. Suffocating Fumes can be good. Rebuke's decent. Spellbomb can stop them. We don't need a Crime. Grim Bobble's okay. Blood Fountain, probably not necessary. Tithing Blade, probably not necessary. Probably just some Enforcers, because they can get chumped and they're just slower. We're trying to interact and disrupt them and then finish them off with flyers. All right. I think we would have had a fair shot if we just did not get stuck on our mana. We're keeping another 2-lander, but what are you going to do? I can't mulligan every 2-lander I see. This one's not bad. We have Blue Blast and Duress. We have Fairy Macabre. We need at least one more artifact for the Thoughtcast, but they also mulligan to 5. That's going to help a little bit, especially when we Duress them, which I don't have to do right away, but if I draw like a tap land, I'm going to want a Thoughtcast. Yeah, also if they just have like a Wellspring they're counting on, I think it's worth it. Yeah, Wellspring Offering. They have 2 Skirk Prospectors. They do have a Great Furnace, so probably just the Offering, because Wellspring can just sit there and only draw 1 card, and they have other things to sacrifice to the Offering, so that's probably fine. We get a Cryogen. Untapped land, or land at all. I didn't mean to be greedy. The good news is, even if they have the combo just magically, then Fairy Macabre can intercept the Putrid Goblin in the graveyard. So even if they luck into it, we have a way to break it up. Play 2 Prospectors and a Carnarium. It's possible with the Prospectors, Shrivel would be okay to bring in, but I don't know. I'm going to Refurb and Thoughtcast. That's our best bet to develop and to hit a land. We do. So now we'll try to start leaving up Blue Blast and Macabre. Eviscerator's Insight. All these Mana Screw games I see out of you are making me want to play Ponza. Well, that's rude. I will say, I mean, certainly after sideboarding, it gets a little better, but like, I do have a bunch of indestructible lands, so your Ponza plan would be kind of ineffective right at the moment. But yeah, I mean, decks are very greedy. I mean, there's a bounce land right here. That's another reason to play Ponza, right? Swing with 2 Prospectors. I could block. I guess I don't really need to. Thoughtcast. Let's use that. Then I can Glint Hawk a Relic. Swing for 2. Glint Hawk Relic, and I can play a tap land. We're going to have to discard a card here, but that's fine. I guess I could have made them discard with the Refurb. Now we're hitting our land drops. All right. Yeah, I could replay the Relic, but we're still going to have to discard, and I'd rather just start holding up Blue Blast. So we'll discard the Seat now that we have enough lands. Played this at my 2K this past week. Yeah, we're going to counter that. Started out well going 2-0, and then the next 3 rounds I got color screwed. 2 rounds on white, 1 on blue. Yeah, the color screw is real. It can be problematic. If people are finding that to be a problem for, you know, for me, it's definitely a problem, but I've found that I just prefer to deal with it than to have like the compasses, but you could definitely put compasses in your main deck if that helps. Never happens with Gates. I mean, that might be a reason to play Gates. I felt like when I played Gates, I still got color screwed because of the colorless Basilisk Gates. So, all right, well, we get to put down Spellbomb, and we have Fairy Macabre, so 2 ways to interact. Spellbomb, they have Siege Smash in their main deck, as we saw, so Spellbomb's definitely not for sure a way to stop the combo. Okay, rarely happens with Gates. Fair enough. I'm sure it is less often than without Gates. I just like the payoffs of Thoughtcast and Mirror Enforcer a little bit better. There's a fun little 1-mana Mardu guy that fixes mana and scries when ETB. Yeah, Mardu Devotee is pretty sweet, but it's certainly not for these colors. I mean, it fixes 2 of these colors, but I wouldn't play it unless I was using it to fix all 3, I don't think. Loved playing it, though, and going to continue to test and play it. Yeah, I'm glad that you're enjoying it at the very least. Like I said, if you're having issues and don't like dealing with the color screw, then I would suggest adding in a couple Navigator's Compass to the main deck, maybe even going up on a land, which obviously can lead to more mana flood. I've tested out all these things, and this is what I've landed upon, but doesn't mean it's the only way to play it. Let's Thoughtcast, Glint Hawk. Yeah, I'm going to play the Spell Bomb, I think. And if they want to Siege Smash it... So, Siege Smash is interesting in this deck because it has Split Second, which means you can blow up an artifact, and I can't respond by cracking the Spell Bomb, for example. So if they do that right now, I'm just going to lose it. I'm not going to get any value, which is exactly what they're doing, and that's fine. If now they feel like the way is clear, then I can get them with a Macabre. But the way that this works is that you can't activate any abilities unless they're mana abilities. Whereas Skirk Prospector's ability is a mana ability, so if they hold priority after casting this on for any reason, they can then make infinite mana. It's pretty hard on Magic Online, but they can make infinite mana and then still do their combo after it resolves. They're going to try to unearth a Matron. I think this is worth Macabre-ing, because this is going to find one of their pieces, plus I get to take their Eviscerator's Insight, so I'm going to do that. Mardu is Cleansing Wildfire too. Seems like it's better fixing options. Yeah, if you're doing like Mardu Synth, I think the Devotee is interesting because it can also set up your Boros, your Experimental Synthesizer. But generally, Wildfire is kind of the better way to go. Is there no room in this affinity for Lux Knight, or is it too expensive and competing with Enforcer? I think Lux Knight is a cool card. I don't think it is good enough to play currently in just any deck. It's just 4 mana is a lot. Yes, it can be enormous, but it's also doesn't have any sort of evasion. So like Enforcer is really good because it's free, so a lot cheaper than a Lux Knight Breacher. But we've even seen it in a couple games already be like, well, I'm taking this Mirror Enforcer out, or it's not very good here because it gets chumped really easily. Well, imagine that, but then if your guy's a 10-10, they're willing to chump it with absolutely anything. It's a little bit worse. So yeah, I think 4 mana is just too much. Certainly, if you want to try it out, I say go for it. We have lethal on them right here, so there's no reason to tap out of my interaction, so I'm just going to leave both of these up. We don't have any Fairy Macabres or anything here, so yeah, it's possible they could do something here, but I think countering this on the stack is going to be pretty good. They concede already. I wanted to cast this. Alright, so we get that game. I don't think they're usually going to run out 2 Prospectors like that, but I almost makes me want to have Shrivel. Obviously, I know they have Unearth for it, but 4 mana is too much. Yeah, TLDR, I think 4 mana is just too much. I mean, we don't play anything in our deck that's more than 3 mana, because all of these are 1 or 0 drops, and even the Rebukes are really 1 drops. I mean, these Macabres are 0 drops. Fumes is our only actual 3 drop, and everything else is 2 or less. 4 is just a lot. That's not to say that you can't do it in some decks, like Guardian of the Guild Pact shows up as like 1 or 2 of in like Coggate's decks, even though most everything in its deck is cheaper, but it's also got some of the best evasion in the entire format, as opposed to none at all. And it can be big enough because of the gates. Let's see. Is there anything I would want to switch? I kind of like Grimbauble better because it can take out Putrid Goblin. Yeah, I think we just submit again. Pestilence 2, so basically it just needs to be an actually good card and not cute for that amount of mana. Yeah, I mean, that's more or less the answer, but that said, Guardian of the Guild Pact has fallen off a little bit since it was really good like before Chrysalis. It still is played and it's not bad, but it's gotten worse, especially because it's 4 mana. Pestilence has been making a bit of a resurgence with food, but it's also a really tough card to play because it's really expensive, and so especially when your counter spells are 2 mana or less, it's kind of hard to play a 4-drop that just gets countered really easily. This just has 2 cast downs. I don't think this is going to do it. I mean, it has a Bog as well, but this one's a little better with Duress and Blue Blast. I think we just get rid of the Enforcer. Guardian of the Guild Pact is pretty nice with gates. Yeah, obviously it's in there because it combos nicely. But I mean, Lux Knight Breacher combos nicely with our mana base as well, so I get that could work. Alright, I guess we just Duress and hold up Blue Blast here. Theoretically, they could have the combo this early. I'd rather not lose to it by tapping out for a Relic. They do have the combo. They don't have an outlet, but they do have an Eviscerator's Insight, which is pretty good. Yeah, we're going to take a first day of class, I think. I could just take the Insight because if they cast the class, I can counter it. I think that's probably not great. When it dies, create a treasure. They can encore it. I think that's fine. Sure. Swing for 2. Cast down. Problem is we only have 1 blue mana here, so I have to either relic or tap out. Relic or not tap out, that is. I guess I wait, and that if I don't draw anything relevant, at least next turn I can like Cryogen plus cast down, so I have something at the very least. Prospector. If they cast something else here, I can rebuke it. I could have rebuked the Prospector, but they just lose a treasure. That's not very good. Refurb is decent. Takes one of their 2 cards. I still get to hold up my stuff. I guess if I play Relic, though, I have Cast Down. If they get first day of class, I can kill the Putrid Goblin. And unless they have an Unearth as their last card, I should be okay. I think maybe we tap out for this now. We're never going to be able to play it if I always hold up in response. Oh, well, that's annoying. Like until I get a second blue mana, I might never be able to play this. Well, there's the second blue mana. Well, we're going to hold up Cast Down, hope we don't die, and next turn we can hold these both up. 5 mana for the Eviscerator's Insight. I can't rebuke that, so it's fine. I don't really care about the damage here. Yeah, so it's fine. I could cast down this Goblin and theoretically, like, it doesn't come back with, it comes back with a -1/-1 counter, so it's not very useful for the combo yet, but then if they have like a map to put a counter on it, it could change things. I think I'd rather just wait. Here we might as well hold up both of our blue spells, since it's really all we have. I guess we have blue spells and our cast down, so we have a good amount of interaction to stop them. Wellspring. 3 mana for a Matron. They only have 2 mana left, unless they use the Prospector, which they could. Yeah, I guess. I feel like they're always going to have 3 mana then, but maybe if they cast something else after this, it'll be fine. I'm going to Red Blast this then. I could crack Relic. We still have the Refurb to use if we get a bouncer. I'd like to find some more interaction, I guess. Although it does take away an artifact sitting around for the rebuke. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad either. Swing for 2. Play a rebuke, and I guess since I attacked, I don't actually have all 3 of these up right now. Maybe it would have been worth it to not deal 2 damage so that I could have cast all of these. Crack their tramway station, that's fine. Play another. Impulsive Pilfer is good. I feel like they still have this Prospector in hand, right? Because we duress them and they had 2 in hand. Alright, let's duress again. Gotta have something, probably. Crack their Pilfer in response. I guess they have like a Fanatical Offering they're gonna use. Or a Siege Smash, I guess. Sure. Yeah, fair enough. Dark Dweller and Prospector. Get attack for 2, but then they get in for 3, which is not great. But getting rid of the Siege Smash was still decent. Obviously, maybe I should have attacked first. Oh, that's annoying. They duress us. They take the cast down, probably. Or no, probably the Red Blast. Well, Rebuke's going to be pretty useless at this point, now that they know about it. They play the Oracle. Interesting. I feel like that's one that they would have not wanted to play, because now I could cast it down. They're going to encore their guy. No, choose not to, maybe. Really not sure which one they want to do. Encore, that's fine. Attack with everybody, so they're going for the beatdown plan. They have another Prospector in hand, so there's no reason to kill this. I guess I trade here, because again, now they have to find a way to use this in some way. Now I could cast down the Dark Dweller. I mean, we might as well see what we draw. Another cast down. Alright, I'm going to cast this down before they can use it, because they can sack it to itself. Play a mountain, crack a tramway station, I assume. They play the Prospector. Oh, use another Pilfer. Sure. Yeah, I guess they could just go for the pivot game plan. I guess I kill this Putrid Goblin. This way they need an Unearth for it. They sack it to get a mana, which if they sack this too, they can crack the tramway station, but then we don't take the damage. Alright, they pass. We get a Skyfisher. I guess we gotta play a Skyfisher just to block. I could wait a turn or 2. Honestly, maybe that would have been worth it, because they're not really gonna have any way to... They're not going to have any reach except for Siege Smash, so maybe I could have waited a turn in case I top deck something. That's a pretty good draw from them. Eviscerator's Insight. Vault of Whispers. Flashback the Insight. No, they duress first. Gotcha. Might as well make them pay 3 mana for it. I mean, they won't, obviously, but this way they then get to use the Eviscerators without having to pay the 3, which is smart. Alright, yeah, that would have been a good one to hold the Skyfisher for. We gotta start attacking. I mean, I've been pretty impressed with how many cards they've been able to draw. The tramway stations have actually been okay. The insights and stuff have been good. Another insight. Swing with the team. We're going to take it. Killing one of these doesn't matter. I'd rather have the damage on them. Ideally, I can find, like, Thoughtcast into some more of our creatures. They have another Prospector. I guess Suffocating Fumes wouldn't be bad either. That's not a very good one, so I'll just swing with the Refurb then, so I have a blocker. I mean, they don't know about this one, but it's just not going to be very effective, I don't think. They play a land for the insight, realizing I could have another Rebuke, which is exactly what I have. Maybe I can catch something else here, but this is not going great. They do attack, okay. I guess Siege Smash could kill this, and I can't respond to it because of split second. That could be good. Yep. Oh, target creature gains trample. They're doing a different one. Does that mean they have 2 Siege Smashes? It looks like it. That's a pretty funny way to win. I guess they got us for 8. Well, like I said, I haven't played against that match in like a year or something. Certainly not with this deck at all. So probably didn't play perfectly because I don't really know the perfect way to play against them. But I don't know. That was interesting. I've been trying to think of Abzan Affinity, what that would offer. What I've come up with is Malevolent Rumble and some other card selection / recursion. What is almost certainly worse than just blue card draw. Revive the Shire. Yeah, return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Create a food token. Yeah, we were talking the other day about Abzan Affinity. I can't remember if it was you that was mentioning it. I apologize. But someone was mentioning it. And I said there's got to be a reason for why you want to go into a different color. And food is kind of a good reason. It was, yes. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. I just, yeah. Malevolent Rumble is a great card. And yeah, Revive the Shire is interesting. I think food for sure could be a good reason to go into that color. This is not going to work. It's got 2 lands, so I guess we'll keep this, get rid of 1 cast down. Siege Smash MVP here. Wow, I usually just keep 2+ answers up until they go off and I interact. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to do it. I mean, I probably should have just not been attacking at all with my creatures, but I'm not sure that really would have made much of a difference. Right, Mono White Heroic. I couldn't remember what Solarme was on, and if I remembered it was Mono White Heroic, I would not have gotten rid of a cast down. But here we are. Evolution Witness, yeah, that could be a good one. I'm unsure if there are good ways of putting more counters on her. There's certainly some artifacts with, like, yeah, Implement of Ferocity, the new one from Spider-Man, the Tasty Pastry or whatever. These both have wards, so I can't cast them down. So I guess I'm just thought casting. We hit a land. I kind of need white mana for this Thraben Charm. The Bagel card, yes, correct. Yeah, I mean, if you had too many ways, it might end up being like less of an affinity and more of like a counters type thing, which might detract from the affinity. Don't forget the ward on Armadillo. I certainly did not. Otherwise, I would have cast it down right away. There's a Hainambra. Brutal. Swing for 3. Alright, Vault. Lets us play 1 mana Thoughtcast. Well, I guess I could have Spellbombed first. Then I could do a 1 mana Thoughtcast, then I could play a white spell maybe. That might have been better. But let's Thoughtcast. Yeah, I could have played this Razortide Bridge. Refurb is 4, 5. Okay, I can play 2 Enforcers this turn. This guy's got flying though, so that's not amazing. Yeah, especially because I did not play this bridge. Although if I played the bridge, I wouldn't have been able to play the Enforcers, but that probably would have been worth it to get white mana. They gave protection from black. I can blow that up with a Thraben Charm, but yeah. Ethereal Armor, Sentinel's Eyes, so 8/8. Well, the fact that I'm not going to have white mana here unless I get an Ancient Den could definitely lose me the game. Ancient Den. Raven's Crime. Perfect timing. It was not perfect timing. Let's Spell Bomb. Yup. Alright, well, if they don't get a way to pump it, then I won't die, and then I can Thraben Charm this away and I can start chump blocking. They said I had like 90% chance to draw a win con. And they did not, so maybe we can survive here. Alright, we're not tapping anything, but we're going to just use this. Draw a card, another cast down. It's not bad because we do have to get through this Hyena Umbra. So an untapped land would let us just kill this. Or no, because of Ward. Ugh, forgot about Ward, but I can blow up the Benevolent Blessing, and as long as they don't draw another way to give it protection, I can survive. Then I can double cast down over the course of 2 turns. Bagel may be the card since it's a food itself. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. So yeah, it kind of overlaps both of those. Sentinel's Eyes is totally fine. I can damage it. Oh, you're saying I could have Thraben Charms to damage it? Yeah, but it has Totem Armor. So, yeah. Or Umbra Armor. So, I could have done that. That would have fallen off, but it would have survived. So, I need to destroy the Benevolent Blessing, which allows me to chump, which also allows me to cast it down with Ward, pay that. This guy still dies, but then I can cast it down on our turn, and we are not dead. And then I can bounce this, replay it. I guess there's no reason to do that. Yeah, we'll swing with this. I can Glint Hawk, back the Refurb, but leave up Metallic Rebuke just for ultra safety in case they could give one of these protection from a color. Although even if they do, I have blockers, which is nice. They do have Sentinel's Eyes from the graveyard. I don't think I'm going to counter those. I think that's fine. All right, and they concede. Yeah. Pretty rough for them. I did misplay, to be fair. I didn't play that land, or I didn't draw for that land when I should have, but pretty nice for us. Duress can blow up some stuff. Shrivel. They're playing those guys in the probably the 04, the other 04. Probably not playing a Crow and Skyguard, so I don't think Shrivel's worth it at this point. None of the rest of these are very good. So that probably means Fumes isn't worth it. I don't care about Spellbomb for their Sentinel's Eyes enough. Grimbauble can catch the guy at some point. All the removal's good. So we're at 1 extra. Probably don't need the Raven's Crime. I like it against Bogle's fine, but I guess against this one where I can technically target their creatures, we don't need to take out anywhere near as much stuff. Probably just that. Also, IMO, there's something to be said about being outside of Hydro, Pyroblast colors, just a lot of dead sideboard cards against you, but you are opening yourself up to Yard Hate. I mean, I generally agree with you, but yeah, it sounds like you're open to Graveyard Hate, and you're still Affinity, so you're going to be open to a lot of Artifact Hate. I think if you're a deck that's kind of just impervious to sideboards in general, it's pretty nice. Like, I specifically, one of my favorite parts of Mono Black Sack is that you can kind of be impervious to a lot of sideboards. But yeah, if you're still Affinity, you're going to be hit by a lot of stuff. I think we get rid of this. I know the Raven's Crime being taken out is brutal. That sometimes it's just necessary. All right, we have Cast Down for the first creature if it doesn't get protection from our colors. Oh, they are playing the Skyguard. Well, I'm just going to cast that down now. Obviously, there's part of me that just wants to have them put a bunch of cards on it first, but if it gets Umbra Armor, if it gets protection from black, there's a lot of ways that it can go really wrong. I think it's just worth it to kill it. They play an Aerialist, Blood Fountain, so I could play 3, I could play that, and play an Enforcer, so I can kind of start attacking them back quickly. I think that's worth it. I could just play a Cryogen, but that doesn't do that much for me right now, so I think this is good. You also do, by going green, get to play the Artifact Hate as well. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's another reason I like Esper Affinity, is that you generally win the Affinity Mirror because of Dust to Dust. Okay, Light Wheel enhancements, so first strike, Vigilance. No protection from everything yet, though. That's not bad. Play a Cryogen. Thoughtcast is good. Well, I don't have another blue because I used it both, so I can't hold up Rebuke. So I'm just gonna make him discard a card. Another Umbra. I mean, I can't block here, or I can't attack here because it's a chump attack. Maybe I could, and like they'd be too scared to block, but I probably should chump block while I can in case they get a protection spell, much as I don't like throwing away creatures. Protection from black, this Duskrider Falcon, so that's a problem. I guess if it doesn't get Vigilance, I can like tap it with the Cryogen, discard Ancient Den, play this. Alright, we'll hold up Counter Spell. I'm fine with another creature. I guess that insulates against Tithing Blade, which is one of our draws, but I'd rather counter this. I'm unsure what you play when you have access to both Dust to Dust and to Glamour/Oof. I think if your mana is, well, it depends. If your mana is good enough to play, like if you have enough access to white sources, you probably want to Dust to Dust. But if you're playing food like... If you're playing food like Heaped Harvest, then Oof to sacrifice it is pretty good. And like Carrot Cake, if you're playing that, any of those, I'd probably say Oof over anything else. But yeah, Dust to Dust is really strong, obviously. Also, if you have Creature Recursion, it's nice for Oof as well. They have no cards in hand, so okay, maybe we have a shot. Thraben Charm or Tithing Blade to kill this. Tithing Blade is what we want to find. So let's try to draw to Tithing Blade. That's a bunch of lands. Well, we're going to refurb. There's a Tithing. I'm not going to play it yet because it's mana inefficient. I think we're going to crack this Blood Fountain to buy back 2 refurbs, which can draw, because now I just need to find Glint Hawks and Skyfishers. Right, Evolution Witness hits Oof and not any of the rest. Yes, yeah, good call. Yeah, if you're going with the Evolution Witness, I think Oof is probably the right one. And hit by Rumble and Revive. Yeah, sounds like it's got enough synergy. That's probably the one to go for. All right, Tithing Blade getting worse, but I have a bunch of chump blockers for this. Buy back 2 of these, and they now draw a card each. So Glint Hawk or Skyfisher. Yeah. So now we're just going to start, because we have limited black mana, I think we just start using Tithing Blade. So we can churn through 2 of them here. They gave us the GGs. I don't know if they're going to keep playing because they're not technically dead yet, but I feel like if you say GGs, you're contractually obligated to concede. They're going to swing. I guess this blocks this guy, so maybe I take this. And then if they get protection from black or white, at least I still can block the other one. I guess we'll take a hit here. Oh yes, they move up on that track. It's probably fine. Tithing Blade's pretty good. It doesn't quite get this guy, so let's play Refurb to take their card. I think Evo Witness is a really cool card trying some brews with it. Yeah, I think it's very sweet and definitely worth trying. We get to draw a card, they get protection from black, but we get a Glint Hawk, and we have a Tithing Blade for next turn. So they need to have another creature to survive here. Alright, they do concede, finally. So yeah, that's a pretty tough matchup for them. They were saying that they don't know how to win this matchup. It's a nightmare, and It does seem like a tough one for them. So, all right, going into match 5 here. There seems to be a lot of overlapping recursion in this with Rumble, Revive the Shire Witness, and maybe even Blood Fountain. Again, there's something like sack Blood Fountain to get Witness, then return Fountain. Yeah, I think all of that sounds like maybe a little too much, unless if, you know, maybe the Revive the Shire is a 1 of and Blood Fountain's 1 or 2, you know. But certainly the overlapping of, like, yeah, Fountain for Witness is pretty good if it goes late game and you have a ton of mana. Throw in a Pactol Terror, yeah, that could be good. Yeah, feels like it's going to be tough to have slots for everything that you want, but, like, yeah, it sounds like a pretty sweet deck. I'm all in for an Abzan Affinity list. Sounds great. Witness plus Implement is 2 mana, draw a card recursively. Yes. Yeah, that is really good. I know that's a little combo that a lot of people, including one of my buddies at the store, my local store, was playing with a lot. We're against Kalikais, so they're probably going to be on something degenerate. This hand is not very good against something degenerate. It's a reasonable hand in general, just because we have card... You know, if we just hit a Cryogen or whatever, we draw a million. But if they're on High Tide or Familiars or any of the decks he usually plays, I think this is pretty bad. This one's not very good either. However, it has a Relic, which draws us a little bit. It has a Bog, which could be relevant. I mean, it at least does a tiny bit more than the last one. But this feels tough, depending on what they're on. He could, you know, he plays a lot of various decks for the channel, so it could be something else. Wonder what garbage he's going to throw at us. Yeah, exactly. Looks like Eggstron. Thraben Charm could be pretty good here. Same for Bagel, which gives you more to do if you have a Cauldron Familiar. True. Is the Bagel just 1 mana to play? Because that is really good. All right. When you're playing a matchup like this, when you can, you should try to play as much black mana as possible for the Raven's Crime, in case we draw it. So we're going to play a Vault of Whispers over the seat. I might just Bojuka Bog that away, especially if he plays something else. Here's a Refractor. Oh yeah, 1 to play. White mana to use. Counter and draw. Excuse me. Yeah, actually, I guess it's better. Pretty much just strictly better than the Implement, unless green mana is more of a thing that you want. I guess I just play another Cryogen. Yeah, I'll just play the Bog. Get rid of an Insight before you can use it. It's not bad. Yeah, it costs white instead of green from the Implement. Yep. So it depends on which way you're leaning, if one's better. But since the Bagel is food, and that's what the deck is going for, I think it seems pretty good. All right. They have Tron. Into Pactol Terror. We get a Thoughtcast. White mana would be great. Untapped, preferably. Refurb is okay. Thraben Charms are good if we can find white mana for them. I think we're going to just leave up Cast Down and Relic here. We have 2 relics, so I'm going to be happy to sacrifice one of them just to look for white mana. There's a Wellspring. There's a map, so I can get another tower. Polluted Mire. Okay, so they're running low on card draw already, or just have a lot of lands in hand. Good to know. Oh god, getting all of our removal. This match is not where we want to be. Well, we get white mana finally. I think I'm just going to play a Tithing Blade. We have more removal than we're ever going to use in this match. So I might as well put it down for affinity count and for potentially if I ever want to flip it. Though that's probably not going to happen, but just in case. Star, make black mana, Refractor. I mean, the first Pactol he puts on the field, I can kill, which is kind of nice. There's already one in the grave. Just going to pass here. Do I want to crack another Cryogen Relic? I already have the Glinthawk, so maybe not. But Glinthawk for refurb to make him discard could be good, although I guess they probably already have a lot of lands, so it's probably not worth it to make him discard at this point. Unless I can discard, like, everything with, like, a Raven's Crime, so I'd rather dig for that. Another white mana is nice, because that lets me hold up a Thraben Charm if they do get, like, the combo going. Pick up Relic. Or I could just get another Glinthawk down if I want to get a little... It's greedier, but it's also just... Like, what do they need for the combo? Foundry Inspectors, Pactol, and then just a whole bunch of stuff in the grave. I think I'm going to go for it. It shortens their clock even more. Lets us dig even more. Thoughtcast is good, but it's not as mana efficient, so I'm just going to play this. We're going to discard a second Tithing Blade, probably. Weather the Storm. A little annoying, for sure, but it's pretty hard for us to not play into a Weather the Storm, so... But we did tap out of our Cast Down, so it's possible that an early Pactol Terror could just kill us here. Like Pactol Terror before he plays a bunch of stuff, that is. Or if they just find the Foundry Inspector. But insight into Candy Trail here. Big problem, which you mentioned before, is having to split between basics and artifact lands because they heaped harvest, which does cut into the actual affinity you are doing. Yes, I think that's a real cost. Like Wildfire decks generally run like 6 basics. If you're just doing heaped harvest, that's the only reason to care about basics. Maybe you could get away with like 3 or 4, but even 3 or 4 can make it really tough for you to be able to play like Enforcers if you're trying to do that. So yeah, Played a bunch of cards, map on the field, not the end of the world necessarily. 7 cards in hand is the bad part here. I'm gonna Thought Cast. Okay, actually, wait. Before I do this, is there any merit to just Bajuka Bogging them? There's an Eviscerator's Insight in the grave. That's about it. Plus, do I just want to hold up double Thraben Charm? I probably do want to bog them once right now. I kind of think that's good. But I might as well just Thraben Charm and then hold up the other one, because then I can Skyfisher this Relic for more value. I think I'm going to Skyfisher. If I get another white source, this obviously is easier. There's a Skyfisher. Let's play this, and then I guess now it wouldn't matter because I don't have 2. 4 mana. I think I just Thraben Charm them right now. Gets rid of the thing. It gets rid of a lot of cards. I guess it doesn't get rid of any baubles, Conjurer's Baubles, but just a lot of other stuff. They have so much mana. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably better to go for it now, but maybe I should just hold it up. This bauble doesn't seem relevant. And again, I'm not holding up Cast Down, so maybe that's not... There's an Inspector. Yeah, I guess if they just have the Inspectors and stuff now, I can just lose pretty badly. Leave a Candy Trail on top, certainly. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have tapped out with the interaction I have. I don't play against eggs that often, to be fair. Yes, no Wildfire means any bridges you want to play have less value. That's also true. Oh, and I was forgetting when I said, like, maybe you can get away with 3 or 4 basics with Heaped Harvest. I forgot that they get 2 basics each. So if you're playing like 3 or 4 of them, you might need at least 6 basics to make sure that they don't whiff too often. All right. Yeah, I think I should not have, like, if I just hold up the interaction that I have, I think it's probably, like, we're not dead yet, but we're getting pretty close, and I think I probably could have played around it a little bit easier by just holding some of this stuff up. This may just be Abzan Food and not Abzan Affinity. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it could just be Abzan Food with, like, refurbs or something, right? Which is, technically makes it a little bit of Affinity, but yeah, I think that's reasonable. What do they have that's red? Gixian Infiltrator plus Growing Evolution Witness are enforcers at home. Gixian Infiltrator could definitely be sweet in there. Scattershot in the main deck. Okay. 5, 6, 7, so kills 3 of our guys. That's annoying. It's not as bad as losing, so I don't honestly hate that too much, but it's a bit of a pickle. I'm gonna kill this Inspector. Swing for 2. We get to play Blood Fountain and just hold up the activation to bring them back, or I could just Skyfisher, hold up Cast Down and Thraben, try not to make the same mistake as last time. They only have 18 cards left in their deck. That actually is probably the way I win, not damage at this point. Alright, I'm going to play a Blood Fountain, and I'm going to play a Bridge, and I'm going to hold up our stuff. Like, Scattershot was annoying, because now it just feels like there's almost no way I can deal him enough damage, but it just certainly was not as bad as anything else I could have seen. But it is cool tech, for sure. There's a Pactol Terror. I'm going to kill that in response to anything else entering, like a Foundry Inspector. Unless Foundry Inspector is worse for us, I think it's probably the Pactol Terror. Because the Inspector, if they go for, like, the combo from the graveyard, I could just cast down the Foundry Inspector now. We've seen 2 Inspectors, 2 Pactols, so there's probably still 2 of each. Sometimes he only plays like 3 Inspector, 3 Pactol, so it might not even be a full playset. I think while they're just cycling and getting cards, it's fine. I mean, Storm too, but I don't care about another Scattershot. I don't care about a Weather the Storm. And if anything, I'm just trying to mill him out, so I think the cards are fine. He plays another Pactol, I'm just going to cast that down. Is this another Pactol? No, Fanatical. Okay. So here, if I cast this down, I'm trying to make sure I don't lose if I cast this down, because if I do, they only will have 2 mana left. Have they played a land? God, I have to go back so far for this turn. I don't think he's played a land, which means that they... Oh, plays Urza's Mine. Okay, so they played a land, which means they can't have enough mana to use the, whatever it's called, Frantic Salvage, to put it all back. So I think this is fine. Skyfisher Blade next turn. Yes, that's probably a good call. Yeah, you're fine to make a play suggestion. I don't mind a minor amount of backseating. So there's a Bauble to get back another Bauble. Right. So if they get... Oh, yeah, I forgot that they want to get low enough. Wait, was that another land? Plays Urza's Power Plant. Was that last turn that I was looking at that they played a mine? I thought for sure it was this turn. I mean, I think we're still fine, but I guess I misread that. But I forgot that they actually want to get low on mana. Okay. We're not dead, and we have the Thraben Charm. So I think we're okay. Plus, I could just buy back a Bajuka Bog. But yeah, I think killing their creature's probably better. So here I have Blood Fountain or Thraben Charm. Do I have anything in the graveyard that's immediately relevant? No. So I think we just do this. Give me 1 second. There's the 4th Terror. So I think this one I don't kill right away because we have to decide between the graveyard and shooting it. And if they have like a scatter shot or some way to like kill our guys in response, it's kind of bad. Viscerator's Insight they leave on top. And without doing a loop and only 12 cards in their deck in hand, I can't see how this could deal us 15 more damage. So like if they go for the Frantic Salvage, then I go for the Charm, I think. Scry 2 to the bottom. They only have 4 cards in their deck. Plus they need a Foundry Inspector, but I guess the Frantic Salvage can put an Inspector on top, can't it? Insight. There's a Bauble. Sure. Oh, I guess the Baubles can just go infinite, can't they? Well, infinite with the mana that he has, which is not going to be lethal. Okay, so we're not dead. I don't think there's any way you can instant... Is Frantic Salvage an instant? That's a good question. Let me look this up real quick before I maybe lose to it. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, let's not tap out then. Let's just Blood Fountain... Oh, yeah, we can do the search there. Let's just Blood Token this away and not let him buy back his graveyard and not tap out. All right, and we have these... So I can Tithing Blade this away. This is his last win con, so he has to Frantic to be able to have any shot. And unless he's playing 2 Frantics, I think the Thraben Charm should be good enough, because then he'll just mill out. I don't have anything to do with this mana except for Blood Fountain, which doesn't matter too much, so I think I'd rather draw a card from the Relic in case we get like another Cast Down or something that's relevant. Skyfisher, we won't be playing that. I assume I don't need to play around any Spell Pierce or something, that'd be weird. We have a Rebuke, but yeah, Thraben Charm is going to be the play, I believe. Crack the Candy Trail, so no cards left. So we can loop Baubles as much mana as he has. Oh, he can start drawing back the specific terrors and things he needs. And then playing those. Bojuka will force through the grave. Yeah, I probably should have just Skyfished the Bojuka last turn, because now he can just buy back terrors and then play those. It's possible I've lost here, because if I go for this and he has the salvage, then it's pretty much over anyway. It's possible he's playing a version without salvage and just Baubles, but that seems crazy. But the Bauble, if I let this go, he plays a terror, then he Baubles another terror. I guess each Bauble he uses, you know, he's only got 1 use. But he still has no cards in his deck. Yeah. But he has enough mana that theoretically the Pack Dolls could just kill me this turn, is my concern. Oh, now he can just loop Baubles because he's got enough mana. So one terror is going to kill me because he's got 12 mana floating right now, which means I have to kill the terror, but then he has another Bauble and I just die. Or no, I have to exile the graveyard. And there's 3 Baubles in there. Yeah, but I have to graveyard, but if he has the Frantic Salvage in response, I just die. Pray no Bauble in hand. Well, there's only 3 here. I don't think we exiled one before. Oh, we did exile one before. And there's 3 here. I think this should be fine, unless he's got the Frantic Salvage. If he Frantic Salvages, which that's the white mana for that, and has any way to draw in hand, then we probably lose. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to do. I was playing around the Frantic Salvage. I was forgetting about the Bauble loops and various things you could do. I think, yeah, if I just Skyfishered the Bog last turn and exiled most of this, and then I had the Thraben Charm just for the last, I think I would have been fine. Right, because the Frantic draws a card, and he returned... No... Oh, yeah, I got another Terror. Is that enough to weather the storm? Oh, well, he's just got 13 cards in graveyard. Or 13 cards in library now. He's at 57, so it's no longer going to mill out. Bojuka the other turn was the way. Yeah. No, I definitely should have Bojuka last turn. And now Baubles and stuff are back in the deck. So even if I, like, Tithing Blade these for 2 Glint Hawks. So I can't probably kill. I'm pretty sure I'm dead. I'm just trying to figure out if that's 100% sure. So I Tithing Blade one of these. They just have Baubles to get him back, but I guess Baubles put him on the bottom. Well, let's Blood Fountain back, Glint Hawk, Skyfisher, and Rebuke is probably going to be irrelevant here. I can only kill one of these, and then he definitely has enough to chain through 10. All right, we're going to die. Yeah, I definitely made a mistake there. Pretty costly one. Dust to Dust, Duress, Fairy Macabre is what we want. And we get to take out Grim Bauble, the Rebukes, and the Fumes. Tithing Blades were okay there, but I don't think they're really... It's too late for it to really be what we need, I think. And not the Spellbomb. Not the Raven's Crime. It's a Blood Fountain, since they aren't going to have a lot of removal, probably. I mean, we saw the Scatter Shot, but that was basically it. Alright, no lands. Oh, God. No blue mana is pretty rough with this hand, and no disruption. I mean, I think we gotta keep it and try to find blue. Hope to find blue, I guess. Star. I gotta start beating down with Skyfishers right away. That does not feel like it's gonna work. Alright, mine and power plant, crack the star, play a map, so Tron next turn. Refurb's a decent draw. Play that, we can buy it back with a Skyfisher. Discard an Insight, crack the map for a tower, a Bauble and a Wellspring. Bauble back the Insight. Ooh, Duress. So I could Duress here, or I could just refurb plus Skyfisher. The next turn I could refurb and Duress. It's more mana efficient this way. I guess I could get hosed by a card that I could Duress right now that they might be able to use, like an Energy Refractor or something, but crack, Chromatic Star, Candy Trail, Fanatical Offering the Wellspring, Conduit Pylons. Puts a card on top, plays a Temporal Intervention. Well, that's annoying. Takes away our refurb. I guess doesn't care too much about the Duress, which is also annoying. We're still going to cast it, but yeah, their hand's just super impervious. I guess I could take a Frantic Salvage, but they can just recycle that with a... They don't even want this until forever later, and then they could just recycle it with a Bauble. But yeah, this hand is super impervious to anything. I guess I could take an Insight and I could Thraben Charm it, but they know about the Thraben Charm, so maybe that would be the play. But this one's not looking great. We have a 5-turn clock, which is already really slow. Chances they find a Weather the Storm or Scattershot are very high in that time. There's an Offering and a Refractor. Ugh, no blue mana. Well, we'll swing for 4, put him to 13, and yeah, we got a Thraben Charm for the future. That's about it. I guess taking the Frantic Salvage would mean that we could do kind of what we did last turn, and he wouldn't have the ability to respond with the Frantic Salvage. So maybe that would have been the choice, because then there's no instant Speedway except for having a bunch of Baubles on the field to really keep everything from getting exiled. That might have been better. It feels like it's just a play that's not going to be impactful for like 10 turns, and then maybe it matters, but like in the meantime, I feel like if I just lose everything else, it's kind of rough. But the card draw is not super relevant here, so because he's got just so much. And there's a Pactol Terror, which I guess I gotta kill. Actually, maybe it's the Inspector that's gotta die, because Inspector just lets him find other terrors and things. I don't really know. We'll shoot this one. If I was gonna kill that one, obviously I should have done it before he played the Candy Trail for free. Another Trail and a Wellspring. Well, Thraben Charm, I guess I'll use it on this guy. Crack the Candy Trail to draw a card. Temporal Intervention, yeah. Takes the Cryogen. Pactol Terror and a Star. We draw a tapped blue bridge. I think I'm just gonna concede. I don't think there's any way we're gonna be able to get out of this one, unfortunately. So I definitely think I'm through. I think if I had Bojuka Bog to that turn in game 1, I think I probably could have won that one, because they wouldn't have had much to get back. Would have milled out at some point, and then I wouldn't have had to use the Thraben Charm proactively. I think that probably would have been better. And then that game 2 was just not going to work out. I mean, we mulliganed and then didn't hit our blue mana. But maybe a game 3 we could have been alright. It's a tough deck for Esper. Yeah, we're not the best against most combo decks, to be fair. Yeah, so it's definitely a tougher one for us. But yeah, we got a 2-3. Not the best, but 3-2 on the other one. So 5-5 for the day. And alright, well, oops. I believe that's going to be it for me today. I will be streaming again at some point. I'm trying to finalize a schedule, but for now, it's usually 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a day, usually a weekday. So I will be back at some point. Surely there will be more videos every day on the YouTube channel, so make sure to check those out. I appreciate everyone hanging out,